Alright, so us friends, welcome to another one of our Waza Wednesday series. Today we're going to talk about an arm bar technique. I call this the Grapevine arm bar. Now, we can take our masks off here. It's just us two working and we're both fully vaccinated. We've been being extra cautious. We'll put them back on when we go back to work with the kids in a minute. But an arm bar technique, the essence of an arm bar technique is that you are straightening the elbow and using it to control your opponent. So a basic arm bar, for example, in Seido Karate shows up in intermediate self-defense number 1. So my opponent steps in, it's not necessarily a realistic application, but just to demonstrate. My opponent steps in, and I sidestep and I trap his arm here. I am above the elbow with one arm, I am below the elbow with the other arm. And from here I could break his arm, I can take him to the ground, similar technique found in Yakusoku Kumite number 3, okay? But I have control of his arm. Now the problem here is, or we could even talk about a more typical judo type armbar. If he came out, just put your hand out like you're grabbing me, or whatever here. I get control of his hand, and I use my ribs, my chest, to control his arm. This is nice. I've got 2 arms controlling his one arm against the chest there, can press and really control his. Now the problem here, being a punchy kicky person, a karate guy, he's behind me. Now he can't choke me very well with this anything, all right? But it's hard for me to hit him from here. And yeah, he might go down and try and grab my legs and do all kinds of unpleasant things like that if he's of such a mind. I can elbow him, but so another way to apply the armbar is what I call the grapevine armbar. For here, I'm going to primarily use one hand. Let's reverse positions. So let's see again, my opponent steps in. This is basically found in our Seido curriculum in beginner self-defense number 6. My opponent steps in, he tries to grab, he punches, whatever, and I do sort of a down block. I take that down block and I grapevine it around his arm. Now I am above his elbow and below his elbow with the same hand. All right? I'm going to use 2 hands to turn the arm over here. But what I get to do here, this pressure point directly above his elbow on the triple heater meridian on the triceps of the tendon. By pressing into that and pressing up, I'm actually engaging, I'm kind of taking control of his triceps tendon and using that to help straighten the arm. I'm also triggering a reflex that will make the triceps muscle contract and help straighten the arm. So I'm using a pressure point attack here to control his arm. And I have the glory of having my other hand free, my legs free, many ways to attack him with other parts of my body. Right? So it's an interesting idea to be able to apply an arm bar while you are still facing your opponent. I think that is worth practicing. So again, the idea, grapevining the arm, getting one part above the arm, above the elbow rather, the other part below the arm, lifting and pushing down. Now, if I start to get this and I fail, if he bends his arm and we end up here, this isn't good, okay, at all. Always remember that if you start to apply a lock and you lose it, don't try to force it. Go to another technique that goes with the opponent's movement. So he starts bending his arm and gets out of there. I don't want to get my wrist trapped there, so I'll come in here. Oh, he wants to bend his arm? Fine. I will help him bend his arm, and I'll take him into more of a shoulder lock position here. This would be a little better if I got in and leveraged the elbow there, but even this will work. Gets him bound up, and I can take him to the ground like so, do whatever. All right. So, the grapevine armbar, worth thinking about, worth adding to your repertoire. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have another Waza Wednesday. Thank you to Senpai Mike, my uke for today, and thank you to my last minute cameraman Reed here. Okay.